Hey everybody, Zach here from Radiovania. Just letting you guys know that we tried our best to do a Skype OBS to twitch.tv little live stream for this episode. It kind of glitched out the audio at the very beginning. It's not the worst thing you've ever heard in your life, but it does skip around a little bit. But at about minute 2 or 3, it comes back to basically normal. So we apologize for the sound quality and hope you enjoy the episode. All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Radiovania episode number 72, your Nerd Radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. My name is Zach Ratello, at Zach Ratello, on all of the social medias, all over the world. And across from me is the quarantined Swan Song, Jon Swan Song.
Hi, man.
How's it going, buddy?
You are also quarantined. Everyone is,
yes.
Probably. But it's going
almost
as well as it can be.
Yeah. It's been a different change of pace, that's for sure. I'll tell you what. Drinking a White Claw watermelon at 2:15 in the afternoon. Definitely a change of pace for old Zach boy.
Yeah, I just had a Guinness. Yeah, I just had a Guinness
just now?
Not too long ago. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Trying to drink my St. Patty's beer a little bit, but I made a blacksmith, so I mixed that with a little Smithwick's red ale or Smithwick's, depending on where you're from.
Yeah. Did you? You're still working your way through that Costco variety pack, aren't you?
Yeah, I got about 6 beers left, so it won't take me too long.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today on Radiovania, things are going to be, a little bit different. Actually, if you're watching right now, hey, we got a video podcast. First time for everything, but, here we go. So if it sucks, we're sorry, but hey, we're experimenting, When you're quarantined, you gotta spice things up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, if you've never listened to an episode of Radiovania before, the concept is very simple. We get conversational, talk about movies, television, video games, all the entertainment and pop culture stuff that you want to hear about. If you've never done it before, give us a follow. Radiovania on Twitter, radiovaniashow@gmail.com if you want to send us questions, comments, and concerns, and Radiovania on Instagram. And I'm at Zach Ratello if you want to follow me on the social medias. And you can also follow my other podcast that I've been doing that's not necessarily a pop culture podcast. It's called Dollar Beer Night, Dollar Beer Pod on Twitter. We do a lot of conversational, just everyday life sort of questions there. So if you feel like giving us a follow and a like, feel free to. We'd greatly appreciate it. So John, what do you want to start off with? What's on the docket for today?
Oh, man. I feel like we should just start off with the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
Which is COVID-19 and the mass spread / quarantine of the United States of America.
Yes.
And kind of how that's affecting our entertainment as well as our individual lives, I think would be a good place to start.
I think so. Because it most certainly has an effect on our entertainment lives and personal lives. Obviously, it's like, man, going to the grocery store is like even more of a chore than it used to be. So yeah. That's fun. But John, you're up there in Cuyahoga Valley, in the great city of Peninsula.
Yes, and it's close to close to ground zero.
And
for
it's
the
starting
state of
to look
Ohio,
a little bit.
But
is it starting to look a little bit more or a little bit less like our TV show Apocalypse called Peninsula that we pitched at one point?
Yeah, it's getting there.
Getting there.
I mean, to be honest, where I live, it's not really that much different. All of the places that I go to, for the most part, are closed, but the grocery stores are still open. So that's nice. I just made a big grocery run last night, actually, just to make sure I got everything.
Nice.
And then let's see, work. Obviously, we are closed currently, given that we're an education center. But we are all working from home. So I've been working from home this week, working on getting some live stream videos that are educational pieces out to the public. So we filmed our first one today. You can find it on the Conservancy for Cuyahoga Valley National Park, their Facebook page. If you want to watch it, I helped produce that video. Beyond that, I'm mostly just kind of buckling down, going on hikes, runs, trying to be outside, all the stuff that we're allowed to do, but putting other parts of my personal life on hold, like going to the gym and the comic store and playing X-Wing, stuff like that.
Yeah. Is there any digital virtual way for you to play X-Wings?
There are a lot of ways to do that. There are computerized versions of the game that people have made. However, my internet is garbed, so if I wanted to get that set up on my laptop, it probably wouldn't go very well. So I'm just going to plan to take a break from it for a little bit and or play with my friend Steve, who, if he gives me the coronavirus, I wouldn't be mad at him. So just keeping it limited to one player, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Keeping sanitary. Always wipe down your X-Wing before your next moves.
Definitely. The last time I played was probably early last week. So that was the last time. So it hasn't been a while. I haven't gotten the hankering for it yet, but after a while, I'll have to teach Izzy and she'll get really mad. But so yeah, that's about it. What about you?
Oh, I've been trying to, obviously trying to keep sane, but the thing that I've been trying to, at least, with work has been tricky. I don't want to get into all the details with that, but the main thing that I want to try and do on this time where self-isolation is of the utmost priority is I want to try and consume new things as much as possible, because I feel like a lot of times we can get caught in the trap of, wanting to, rewatch its favorite shows, The Office, anything that's easy, things that are just basic that, they're easy to consume and they're comfortable for us. But I think that, while we have the opportunity, maybe it would be cool to, try our best to consume some new stuff, stuff that you haven't seen before. So I've been getting together a small list of stuff, odds and ends, movies that I haven't gotten to yet, television shows that I've been wanting to catch up on, comics that I haven't read yet, so hopefully by the end of this self-isolation thing, however long this goes, oh boy, hopefully not super long, but hopefully by the end of it, I will have, consumed some new things. So that's basically what I've been doing.
Nice. Yeah. And that actually ties into a topic that I think we're going to hit a little later on, like a throwback at that corner. But yeah, I think that's a good idea. If I could give advice to folks that are currently quarantined that are maybe feeling a little bummed about it, I would just say, the easy thing to say is try and stay busy. But that's very vague. So things that I've done that have been successful the past couple of days and all that has been, I have a coloring book. So I'll take breaks where I get the crayons or the color pencils out and I'll color for a little bit. Reading a new book, trying to immerse yourself in something new. Maybe playing a video game that you haven't played before and or checking out Netflix. The big winners of the year 2019 are the streaming services, who are about to just clean up in terms of popularity the next couple of weeks. So there's a big list of things that I want to watch, that I can dive into as soon as, I've actually been really busy with work, so I haven't had as much time as some people, and that's not a brag or anything like that necessarily. But I haven't really had the time to do that yet. But I do have things on the back burner that I want to check out. So
Yeah.
some of which would make Mr. Rotello, yourself, very happy.
Well, anytime John tells me he's playing a new video game, no matter what it is, I'm always like, hell yeah, let's go. Something that's not The Last of Us, even though I'm happy that you have that. But So yeah, consuming new things, because right now there's not a whole lot new, especially at the theaters. The first one, if you guys have been living under a rock, every movie ever has been delayed and is moving from its original theater release date. So the first one, the first article came at March 4th, 2020 from Deadline. This was right before everything got crazy with like self-isolation and quarantines and state-mandated protocols. But No Time to Die was the first one that got the axe, moving from its original April 2nd release date all the way to November 25th. Right after that, Fast and Furious 9, the Fast Saga, was pushed back.
With your boy, John Cena.
Your boy, John Cena, Vin Diesel, Michelle Rodriguez.
Can you name two other cast members? I was impressed there. Okay, there you go. One more.
Oh, shoot. Zachary Ty Bryan was in Tokyo Drift. I know that. Does that count?
Sure. Charlize Theron is in this one.
Oh, that's right. Sure. Charlize Theron. Wearing terrible wigs every single time.
All the time. What's his name? Is it Tyrese Gibson? Is that the
Tyrese,
guy who,
yeah, that's right.
That's the guy who is like very emotional about not getting a solo film when Hobbs and Shaw came out last year.
I think everyone's starting to get lined up to get solo shows, and the Fast, like there's rumors that they're doing an all women, like the Women of Fast and Furious spin-off movie,
also known as Ocean's 8, which is a good movie.
Still haven't seen it.
What?
Is that one to add to my coronavirus watch list?
Yeah. Have you seen Ocean's 11?
Oh, wait. I've seen the classic Ocean's movies, but not the new one, the reboot. You should see the reboot, but you need to see the other ones, kind of. Okay, I've seen all the Ocean's movies, but I've not seen the all women Ocean's one.
Okay.
That's the only one I haven't seen.
Ocean's 8 is very good. I would recommend.
Okay. Yeah. Is it on streaming services at all?
I mean, you can rent anything, but I don't know if it's on Netflix currently or not. If anything, it's going to be on like one of the weird ones, like Hulu.
Sure.
Or Prime Video.
Yeah. Well, continuing with Fast, this is the one that really this one got real hit hard with the delay. Like the theatrical release got pushed back by almost an entire year. It was originally supposed to open in May. I think it was supposed to open in May, and it got pushed back to April 2021.
Yeah.
So that's quite the delay on that bad boy.
Well, that's because that film franchise relies on the global box office for its revenue.
Yes, and that is
which can be a little hard to do right now. Same with Bond.
Yeah, that's the general theme of all of this. Is a lot of these movies don't seem to be like delayed. I mean, obviously, a lot of this stuff is delaying because of safety. Big theater chains like Cinemark, AMC, Alamo Drafthouse are starting to close locations because of safety and like sanitary conditions. But I think a lot of these movie postponements and delays are purely in terms of foreign box office proceeds and making these movies budget backed in a year where there's going to be a lot less theater going. And then there was one more. What was the last one? No Time to Die. Mulan. The week it was supposed to come out, it already had its global premiere. So there are people that have seen this movie. Like there were the red carpet premiere. And now it's just we don't know when we're going to be able to see Mulan.
Yeah.
And I was kind of excited about that one too.
Me too, actually. Of the Disney live actions that we got last year, which both of them I didn't want them to remake because they didn't seem different enough. or they were
Yeah.
different in ways that I don't like, which sounds really pretentious. But this one seemed pretty cool. It's just like a war movie, you know?
Yeah.
It looked kind of like that movie that Matt Damon made a couple years ago. Do you remember The Great Wall?
I do remember The Great Wall.
It looked like
That trailer sucks.
a non-whitewashed Great Wall, which
Yeah.
was it's a good premise.
Yeah, on Dollar Beer Night, which y'all can go listen to if you want to. The episode that I hosted, I had the guys watch the 1992 Aladdin and then also watch the 2019 Aladdin back to back. And so yeah, I can tell you.
So have you seen the new Aladdin?
Yeah, I had to watch it. That was my prompt for the show, is that we all had to watch it.
How was it?
I didn't like it. I mean, I thought it had a couple cool elements to it. It wasn't a total dumpster fire, but there was more in the movie that frustrated me than there was that I was entertained by. It's basically my short and sweet summary. It's like a 6.5 maybe on the Radiovania patented 20-point scale.
Okay.
If I had to give
better or worse than Beauty and the Beast?
I liked it better.
Really? Than Beauty and the Beast?
I wasn't a huge fan of Beauty and the Beast. Yeah. I mean, it was okay.
So far, the live action movies are just not coming up all over Tello, huh?
They're not tingling me in any specific way.
They're not tingling me. Put that on the poster.
I'll put it in the description for the streaming thing, because it's just going to go straight to streaming. Yeah. Much like Onward.
Nice transition there. Good segue.
Yeah, thanks. King of segues here. Yeah. So Onward. I need to take a second to look up. Tell me exactly, John, what your excitement level was for the Pixar movie Onward, while I do a little bit of research into how much the movie. Like, I want to look at the box office.
Okay. All right. Super honesty time. I forgot that was a movie that was coming out. I thought it was coming out in like a year, maybe. I also forgot what the premise was, and I confused it with the Troll movie that DreamWorks makes or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I heard, I started reading a bunch of articles from The Ringer, and people were talking about how, if you're a parent, it's like the saddest Pixar movie ever or something like that. Which they say that every time.
I've heard it's quite sad.
Well, I mean, it's Pixar. You better bring your Kleenexes regardless. They made us care about Bing Bong, Zach. So
that's true. Bing Bong loves to play
Bing
whatever
Bong.
he does.
Who's your friend who likes to play Bing Bong? Bing. But yeah, that was. Did you look up your info yet? Because I don't know how much more I could talk about this.
Yeah, I've got. I like your honesty.
Thank you.
So Onward's budget is, they haven't given us concrete numbers yet, but it's somewhere between $175 to $200 million. And so far in the box office, it has a domestic box office of 61 million and an international box office of 41 million, giving it the worldwide box office of $102 million, which is
nothing.
Shockingly low, especially considering that its budget was almost double that.
Which they can't control, but
no, they can't control it. What they're doing to counteract this is that, if you haven't heard or seen yet, the news is that Onward will be coming to streaming platforms for purchase and rental later today, I think. Wow. And then it will come to Disney Plus here in 2 weeks.
So Disney's just taking a bath on this one, is what you're telling me.
Well, I think what they're hoping, and
because no one's going to rent it if they know it's coming out to Disney Plus. It's just going to drive up subscriptions, maybe.
Yes, that seems to be the goal, because it's they did the studio that put out, is it Blumhouse that did Invisible Man?
Yeah,
they're doing the same thing with that.
But that movie already cleaned up pretty well because it was only a $7 million movie. Yeah. So if it was open for a weekend, it was going to make its money back for the most part. Did you see it?
I did not. I really didn't care much.
It's on my list. It's actually on my list of something to see. Yeah, that's the last chapter of the Universal Dark Universe. Do you remember when they did that?
Dooku. The Dark Universe, cinematic universe.
Yeah. So they scrapped it because Johnny Depp is obviously not playing the Invisible Man, unless there's some crazy twist that I don't know about. But he was originally in that picture when they took a picture of all the cast members of the Dark Universe.
Yeah, the photo
and
that
then
totally wasn't photoshopped.
And then when their cinematic universe bombed after The Mummy, they kept the production of the movie, but they changed writers or something. Cast Elizabeth Moss, who's like a slam dunk for low budget stuff.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah, we can film a movie because we don't even need the other guy to be there. For most of it, he's invisible. It's actually a genius idea right now.
Yeah, I mean, I heard pretty decent stuff about the Invisible Man. It's just again, no drive to see it really. I didn't care too much.
Yeah, to be fair, most of what was coming out in 2020, with the exception of like a few things here and there, I haven't been like super excited about. So
yeah. The first thing I was looking forward to was going to be Black Widow. So
yeah, I was looking forward to that, and I was curious about Soul, which is the other Pixar movie. I think that comes out later this year, maybe.
Yeah, I think that comes out in June.
Okay.
Yeah, June 19th. So
maybe.
Yeah, put a maybe on that. But I think that the streamingification of, I've been saying it for the longest time, John. How many episodes of Radiovania have there been a Zach monologue about how the theater experience is becoming just so horrifying sometimes for me?
Yeah, what is this, episode 72?
Episode 72.
Okay, so 72 episodes then.
That's right. And I've been saying for the longest time that movies would get, how much do I pay for a movie ticket? On the high end, probably $12 to $13, right?
Yep.
And that's not if I'm doing like a 3D showing or whatever. But I've been saying for the longest time that I think that theaters and theater chains wouldn't be losing out on my money, but the studios would be making so much more of my money if they just released their new release movies in the theater and same day at digital and charged like double the cost. And I would pay it. Like I would pay to see Black Widow on its original release date in my self-isolated home with my nice little blankie and my cup of coffee. I would pay to see I'd pay like $20 to $25 to watch Black Widow at home on the day that it came out. Like, and they could even restrict like the amount of time that you can stream. Like most rentals are like you have 24 to 48 hours to finish it once you start it, and it's like maybe they lock the play after you finish it for the first. I don't know how they would figure out how to do that, but like I think that if anything, this is gonna, depending on how long the coronavirus lasts and COVID is just spreading and more things become locked down in the theater, the movie industry has to continue on. Like it's a whole sect of, the entertainment industry is a huge sect of our economy, and they need to start finding ways to get money from people. And I think that, if this is how it's going to be, and like onwards coming out on digital, maybe Soul comes out on digital, maybe the Black Widow, who knows what else, Mulan, the New Mutants. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I would
should already be going straight to home video.
Well, the New Mutants was part of their delay list, so that's still coming to theaters apparently.
Yeah, right. I think you're onto something there, and I think what you could do is you could do the same way that Prime lets you rent movies, where it's like as soon as you rent it, you have 24 hours to watch it or something like that, or like they give you like 48 hours or something. I think that could work, but I don't know. I mean, we're probably gonna be heading that way pretty soon, because like if this goes all year, you don't want to just completely shut down everything, right? You want to continue to try to get fandom going and things of that nature. So streaming services have the capabilities of putting movies on them. So what's to say that they can't just put them on there as its first release,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I think we're moving in that direction. I personally, I mean, it's terrible circumstances, but I do think that this is I've long said that I think this would be a huge win for the movie industry, because as much as I don't want like theaters and theater employees to lose out on their jobs and them to suffer, it's like there will always be theaters for like big box office movies. Like I don't know. I like, given the circumstances, I would go see Black Widow in the theater because no doubt there's going to be some cool moment where, it's a Marvel movie. There's always a moment where I want to like, yeah, hell yeah, the loud music and the big screen and the popcorn and the big soda
and the Taskmaster.
Yeah, oh hell yeah, dude! Taskmaster. Looking at that video footage of Black Widow from Iron Man 2,
he kind of looks like Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe a little bit. In the MCU version, but not that that's a bad thing.
He also kind of looks like Black Mask from Birds of Prey.
Haven't seen it.
Did you see Birds of Prey yet?
Nope, not. I'm just gonna wait till I can rent it at this point.
Yeah, at this point you have to, but
yep.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't get. Was Birds of Prey? Birds of Prey came out after the last episode we did, right?
Yes,
because the last one was just Star Wars.
Yeah, we talked about it, I think, but
okay. Yeah, Birds of Prey. Pretty good movie. I didn't love it, but I thought it was great. I thought it was really fun. But definitely better than some of the other DCEU movies. It's up there with like Aquaman and Shazam. Like it's in that kind of tier. I don't think it breaks past those very much.
Okay.
But it's up there with the DC Universe movies that I would say, like, I would dare say maybe I'd watch again one of these days.
I dare say. Wonderful.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, what is next on the docket? Have we talked enough about delays and everything?
I think so. I mean, you haven't talked about like things like E3.
Right.
Conferences are also getting canceled, but that's kind of like obvious, large gatherings of people, etc.
Yeah. It deeply impacts, has I know the big one for you, John, is Celebration. Have they given any updated news as of today, March 20th, 2020?
I do not know, but last time I looked, they had not. But I can look that up right now if you want to riff real quick.
Yeah, I will riff real quick about PlayStation and Xbox, really. I mean, both sides of the console wars, quote unquote.
Bent over a barrel, yeah.
Yeah, this winter, this holiday season, expected November is we were going to see the launch of the Xbox One Series X or whatever they're calling it, and then the PlayStation 5. And the Xbox Series X has gotten its fair share of publicity. Microsoft has been really, dropping lots of articles and news about it. But the PlayStation 5, Sony has been relatively quiet about it. They weren't going to be attending E3 anyway. Yesterday, actually, at noon Eastern time, Sony did a tech conference for what would have been the games developer conference that was canceled because of coronavirus. And they talked about a lot of the tech specs of the PS5. And I watched the whole 1 hour conference yesterday, and the info flew right over my head. It was a ton of stuff that I had no idea what they were talking about. So, so far, this is another curious thing is that like, both Microsoft and Sony have been dumping millions and millions of dollars into like research and development for these new consoles for a new cycle. And should the economy continue to fall because of the coronavirus and like people lose their jobs, another sect of the entertainment industry that could suffer is video games and home electronics, because people just won't have the money to spend on that, like the disposable income to spend $400 to $500 on a home console. So a lot of rumors circulating about these, like the next PlayStation and the next Xbox possibly being delayed to 2021 just to give people time to recover. And I think that's a strong possibility.
I think you're most likely right there, sir. As of today, Celebration is not closed. It's in late August.
Have they put out like any statements about it, or they're just like,
no,
they're just like, hey, it's coming up as normal?
They just haven't really made any comments on it. It seems like,
right.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. We'll find out.
Well, I sincerely hope that the Disney Celebration I hope this all blows over in time for that, because I know how important it is to you, and I'd hate for you to miss out on it.
Yeah. We will see. I mean, it's like you said, this is affecting a lot of people's personal lives.
Yeah.
I would be really bummed if it got canceled because of that, but at the same time, I want to make sure that this just goes away. I don't want to be doing this in 2021. So at this point, let's go Endgame style, whatever it takes.
Yeah. Something that broke yesterday, that would actually be relevant while we're on the subject of video games. I'm not sure if you read the articles floating around about GameStop's coronavirus policies. Did you read about any of this at all?
No, are you not allowed to sell games there?
So no, I mean that I can see that. Okay, so yesterday the video game website Kotaku that I use for most of my video game news for the show, they wrote Ian Walker wrote, GameStop's employees fear its coronavirus policies are dangerously flawed. The article reads as this. Last week, GameStop sent an email to its customers assuring them that the gaming retail chain was taking the necessary precautions in the face of the coronavirus pandemic. Some employees, however, have shared concerns with Kotaku about the company's ability to keep them and their customers safe. GameStop's message to consumers was that the company had assembled an internal COVID task force to protect customers and employees, blah, 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 blah. But the big piece of news that came from this was that multiple GameStop employees were reaching out to this website Kotaku to share with them that corporate GameStop had sent out a memo to tell their employees that GameStop would not be closing its doors during any lockdown or any sort of like retail closure because they're an essential retailer. So most businesses, places of business, most businesses, including places maybe of my own, closed down because they were listed as non-essential retailers. That's retail that's not, food, groceries, gas, essentials for everyday life. And GameStop was apparently fighting that it was essential retail.
Incredible. What a flex.
Personally, I think that this is like so terribly. This is a terrible move on GameStop's part. Like, obviously, they're a company that's been losing money, but like, holy cow! I did not think that. I mean, you're talking about retail people's lives, like people that are interacting with humans, like physical items. It's in a time like this when they're giving mandates for locations to close, probably shouldn't be claiming that you're essential retail when you're not. I mean, you sell video games. People can get those digitally now. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on. John, where do you want to go from here? Do you want to talk?
So I got an idea.
Okay, hit me.
Last episode, we kind of did something like this. Do you remember doing thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah, hit me.
I think we should make this a new recurring segment, the audience's favorite segment. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
All right. Okay. Welcome to Thumbs Up, Thumbs Down with John Parker.
So I got a couple for you.
Okay.
Some of them are news topics. Others are things that we've already known about, but things that I have discovered recently that I wanted to get your thing on. All right. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
Antonio Banderas being cast in the Uncharted movie.
No offense to Mr.
Without knowing what he's playing, if I remember correctly.
Right. Yeah. Without any disrespect to Mr. Antonio Banderas, I'm going to go thumbs down on this one.
Okay. All right.
What about you?
I am thumbs down unless he's playing the villain. Then I'm thumbs up.
Would it be Navarro?
If they're remaking the first game, I would imagine he would be Navarro. I think you just make a new villain.
Sure.
If he plays kind of like that gangster guy from Uncharted 4 from Sam's backstory, if he plays somebody like that, that'd be pretty tight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, so this Uncharted movie, holy God, John, we'll talk about this here in a second when we get to a certain HBO topic, but this movie is now officially the most fucked production, I think, maybe ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's gone through like five different directors.
I think it's been I think it's been a news topic since you and I started doing Radiovania together.
I think so. I think it has been.
Like 4 years ago. All right.
Just been reporting on this shit show forever. But yeah, 4 days ago, I'll read this real quick. Sony is the latest studio to pause filming on a major movie, halting pre-production on Uncharted for 6 weeks. It was supposed to start shooting next month in Berlin, but in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, executives felt it was best for the safety of all to delay the shoot indefinitely. It was originally slated to release March 5th, 2021.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next, thumbs up, thumbs down, or do you have any other thoughts on Uncharted?
No, I think we can just keep moving on. My next thumbs up, thumbs down is a series of thumbs ups, thumbs down. So we're going subtopic into castings for The Batman, which is a movie that I think we're going to talk about in a little bit. But I'm curious. These are ones that stuck out to me that I wanted to see what you thought about. Current rumor, Johnny Depp as the Joker. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Thumbs down.
Yeah, me too. Way down. That guy maybe needed to take a break for a little bit.
Did you see Fantastic Beasts 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald?
I did.
Did you like Johnny Depp in that movie?
No, I did not. I liked him in the first Fantastic Beasts when he was on screen for like 4 minutes. I was like, that's an interesting idea. But I actually liked Colin Farrell better, playing him in disguise in the first one. Yeah, but I think both of those movies are horseshit. So
yeah, they both. That first one sucks. I still haven't seen the second one, just out of sheer apathy.
Maybe you should watch that while you're quarantined for a laugh.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it so? It's funny enough that Carly and I could watch it and like get some yucks out of it. You think?
I think you could have some things that you could poke out and be like, "This is stupid." I remember thinking about leaving in the middle of the movie. Actually.
No shit.
Yeah. Not because I was mad necessarily, but because I was like bored or I was like, that doesn't make any sense. All right, next, the Batman casting. This is going way back, but I don't know if we ever really talked about it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Colin Farrell as Oswald Cobblepot, a.k.a. the Penguin.
Colin Farrell, you said, right?
Mm-hmm. Not Colin Firth. Colin Farrell.
Yeah. I don't see it personally, but I don't know. Thumbs up, I guess. Maybe thumbs sideways if that was an option.
You get one thumb sideways in the entire segment. You want to use it on Colin Farrell?
I do not, sir. I decline that one.
All right, so thumbs down.
Well, didn't he already confirm that? Yeah, he is the Penguin.
He is the Penguin. Yep.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were asking as a hypothetical, but I was like in the back of my mind, I was like,
Joker is Johnny Depp as the Joker is the only one that isn't confirmed. So the rest are legit.
Okay, so I'll go thumbs up on this one. That's fine. I think that
it's an interesting idea to take a crazy Irishman and make him play a Penguin guy.
I mean, I have a lot of. Let's put it this way: I have a ton of good faith for Matt Reeves coming into this universe because I love the Apes movies. I think they're some of the most underrated, maybe underrated sci-fi, but maybe just one of the stealthily underrated best movies of the last decade.
Andy Serkis not being nominated as Best Actor for any of those movies is a travesty.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, I would agree with you, especially because he directed the last two, which are the best. You like two. I like the third one the best. But either way, we both win because he was a director for both of them. So.
They're both great. I think that I like two just barely. I mean, if I had to pick one of the two, but I liked all. I mean, I like all three, honestly, even the Franco one.
Yeah. The Franco one's not too bad. Oh, isn't Jonathan Lithgow in that too?
He is, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie. It's kind of sad, right? He has dementia or Alzheimer's or something like that.
The first hour and a half of the first Planet of the Apes movies, like the new ones, is like the most boring shit you've ever seen, and then the last half is pretty good.
Yeah. All right, next, the Batman casting. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up with that as well.
I like that Matt Reeves and Andy Serkis now have like
Michael Caine,
Quentin Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson thing.
Yeah, or Michael Caine and Chris Nolan. Yeah.
Right.
Moving on, because I think we could both just assume that that's going to be a slam dunk.
Yeah.
Also, they've killed it with casting Alfred. Is Alfred one of the safest character choices to play in Hollywood? Thoughts?
I guess it depends on who you are. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. No one has like
Michael Caine, Jeremy Irons, who is probably the best part of those Batman installments.
Right. Yeah, no one has drastically
and
fucked
Andy
that
Serkis.
up yet.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy character. You know, he's like your cool uncle who's British. Next, I think his first name's John. I can't remember. John Turturro as Carmine Falcone. Did you see this?
Yeah, I think I did. Yeah. Yes, the guy from like all of the Coen Brothers movies. He was the Jesus.
Yeah, he's the Jesus. He's in the Transformers movies. He's in the Coen Brothers movies, like Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, I'm down on that one for sure.
Yeah, as Falcone?
Yeah, for sure. That sounds great.
So just some background, because I think this is perfect, by the way. I'm a huge fan of this casting. He is from Brooklyn, New York. So, like, he can just go full mob boss with it. So I'm down with that one. And then this last one from the Batman is Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
I like this one. I like Jeffrey Wright
I do too.
Quite a bit.
I like it a lot. I think it's interesting.
Yeah,
especially if he wears the glasses and he acts like he's on Westworld, which is like kind of he's like kind of a little timid a little bit. I think that's perfect.
Sure. Yeah, I don't see Jeffrey besides Westworld. I haven't really seen Jeffrey Wright in a whole lot of stuff. But he seems like I don't know. J.K. Simmons totally wasted potential. One of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life was how his usage in Justice League. That makes me want to vomit.
That's pretty bad.
But Gary Oldman is one of the best parts about the Dark Knight trilogy. But Gary Oldman
made that
plays
character
Commissioner
cool.
Gordon.
Yeah,
he made him cool, but he also played Commissioner Gordon very hot-headed a lot of the time. Like he's yelling a lot. He's like very much the guy in charge. Like he's got a very serious tone to him. And I think that Jeffrey Wright is just more inherently like soft spoken.
I think Jeffrey Wright's going to be more like the animated series Gordon. Whereas Gary Oldman was kind of playing, I don't know, kind of like the Batman Arkham games. You know what I mean? Like Gordon was kind of like a badass in those games and stuff. So
yeah, kind of.
Either way, I think Commissioner Gordon is actually one of the more interesting characters in the Batman universe, and I'm excited to see what Jeffrey Wright does because I think he's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Even though I gave up on Westworld, but that's a different topic for another day.
I gave up on it too, but I've been hearing stuff that I heard that the premiere for season 3 was really good, and a friend of mine was telling me that I need to go back and try season 2 again, even though I just couldn't do it, man. I tried so hard, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I gave zero fucks at the beginning of that season 2 thing, but I've heard. I mean, season 3 also got Aaron Paul in it, one of my favorites.
Bitch.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, have you seen El Camino yet?
No, that's on my list.
Put that on your quarantine list because I would
love
to talk to you about that shit.
Yeah.
I loved that movie so much.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm rewatching. Not rewatching. I never finished Better Call Saul, so I rewatched the first couple seasons while I was at the gym. But now that the gym is closed, I've just been watching it at home. But yeah, Better Call Saul, excellent show.
Okay, great. Save it for our topic.
Yeah,
because you might need that a little later.
Oh,
but
true.
I like it.
Sure, good point.
All right, I got 2 more thumbs up, thumb down for you, and then you can go if you have any. But
sure.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. The leaked photo of Woody Harrelson on the set of Venom 2 as Cletus
No
Cassidy.
shit. I have
Have
not
you seen it?
this. Hold on.
Okay,
I'm
look
looking
it up real
right
quick. It's a photo of him in front of a convenience store, and he's wearing a tropical shirt with a horrible wig to make him, and it's not the same wig from Venom.
Wait, is it a leaked photo, or did Woody show it off? Was it official?
I am not entirely sure. But it's something else, man. I mean, like when you see it, you'll know. I'm going to see if I can pull it up real quick. Cause I might need to just text it to you. Woody Harrelson Carnage. Yeah. Okay. So if you type in Woody Harrelson Carnage on Google, it's like the fourth photo. It's a link to a YouTube video, but you can see him a little bit, and he looks ridiculous, dude.
Oh, okay. So he's in front of a convenience store. He said he's wearing like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, with like a wife beater and like red hair.
Fuck this movie, dude. Fuck this movie so hard.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
I mean, here's what I'll say. This is the one that they got Andy Serkis to come and try and save, right?
Isn't he directing it?
Yeah, he's directing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go on the look, thumbs down.
Okay.
But I am praying.
No, don't. Come on, that movie's gonna suck.
John, listen to me.
Don't lie to yourself. Andy Serkis already won in the Alfred category. You are. You don't need to save face with him.
No, here's the thing that I'll say is that Venom 2, they hired all this great talent after the first one made money, which is shocking to me. That movie, the fact that Venom 1 made so much money is just an abomination. But
I wish Venom came out during the coronavirus.
Yeah,
because then I would have to put up with this shit.
Yeah. But now that Venom has like money and they've proven that they can make money from it, I really hope that Andy Serkis comes into this movie and directs it knowing that the first one was a joke. Like, I hope that this one is just like Deadpool levels of absurdity, and maybe they understand their source material just a little bit better. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for. So
they could put Morbius in it too.
They could put Morbius in it. That trailer, holy God, one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, you ready? Last thumbs up, thumbs down.
Hold on. Did you see that Jared Leto was in a like Zen retreat in the middle of the desert and didn't know that coronavirus was happening?
That is honestly like the most Leto thing I've ever heard.
That's the most Jared Leto thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this last one is probably pretty easy to figure out for me, but I'm curious about you. Rumor.
Sure.
Thumbs up, thumbs down. Charlie Cox playing Matt Murdock in the next installment of the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
100% thumbs up. I think it would be a great idea to because people love those series, Jessica Jones, Daredevil, and I think that, you know, I never really got into them super hardcore, but I think that those actors I really enjoyed, and I would like to see them reprise their roles in the MCU proper. I think that would be very cool.
Because I want Daredevil back on Disney Plus for sure.
Okay.
So I'd be good with that. All right. Well, thank you for indulging. Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah. Until next time. I like this segment. I think this should be a permanent segment in the Radiovania canon here.
You didn't use any of your thumb sideways. Do you want to go back and thumb sideways on Colin Farrell?
Yeah, I'll go. You know what? I'll do my thumb sideways on Cletus Cassidy, Woody Harrelson.
Fuck you. All right, mine's thumbs down for that for sure. and I love Woody. Okay, cool. So, do you want to move on to quarantine ideas, or do you want to do news?
It's up to you. The only last bit of I'm like looking through my news docket. We mostly touched on a lot of this stuff. Do you want to do some rapid fire news? Just get it out of the way.
Yeah. Hit me.
Taika Waititi is going to do a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory reboot or reimagining.
Is he playing Willy Wonka?
I don't know, but actually that's a great idea.
I think he has to.
I'm 100% on board with that. If that's the case.
He's got to be Willy Wonka.
I mean, I would be curious to see who they casted as Willy Wonka, but now that
James
you said
Franco.
that, like, No, no, God, no.
Who else would you want? I mean, now that I've put it in your brain, who else would you want to be Willy Wonka? He's like the most Gene Wilder person I can think of in 2020.
Seriously, yeah, you're 100% right. I think that is a fantastic idea.
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers?
Charlie. Just from Mandalorian. Grief Karga.
Yeah.
Apollo Creed. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. I know exactly who I know who Carl Weathers is.
All right. Just making sure you didn't react the way I hoped. So.
Well, I don't think that he would make a really good Willy Wonka, to be honest. Sorry.
No, it was a joke.
I don't know, dude. Robert Downey Jr.?
No, he's already doing the what's it called? Not Zoolander. Dr. Dolittle.
He was, yeah, and that movie fucking bombed.
Yeah,
like
he can't be Willy Wonka and Dolittle. He can't be the animal guy and the candy guy and Iron Man. That's too much.
No, I think he could do it.
What about Al Pacino as Willy Wonka?
No, I want to go thumbs down on that one.
That's Mataka River.
Yeah, I think honestly, yeah, you're 100% right. Once you said it, now I can't get it out of my head, so I think it's perfect.
Okay.
Stranger Things 4, we got the first trailer, came out about a month and a half ago.
Real did you watch shocked it? I watched it. Real shocked that Hopper's still alive. Crazy.
Yeah, I know. I totally blew my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really thought he was gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Next.
The last one, it would be The Last of Us news. Did you want to save that for a little bit, or do you want to hit it now?
No, let's do it now.
Okay, so here we go. Hollywood Reporter, and this is the big one. This is the big drop. On March 5th, said Craig Mazin, the creator of the acclaimed limited series Chernobyl, is re-teaming with HBO to adapt the hit video game The Last of Us. In a rare development in the world of video game adaptations, the writer and creative director of the game, Neil Druckmann, is involved and will work with Mazin to pen and executive produce what is intended to be a series. Carolyn Strauss will be executive producer along with Evan Wells, president of Naughty Dog, the Santa Monica-based developer of the game. The project is a co-production with Sony Pictures Television in association with PlayStation Productions. It will be the very first television series from PlayStation Productions. The HBO series will cover the events of the original game, which was written by Druckmann, with the possibility of additional content based on the forthcoming game sequel, The Last of Us Part 2, which is set to release May 29th. This article obviously didn't get their timing right there. Oh, wait, is it coming out May 29th?
I'm not sure.
I think it got delayed to July or something like that, June. Yeah. Quote, Neil Druckmann is without question the finest storyteller working in the video game medium, and The Last of Us is his magnum opus, end quote, Mazin said. Quote, getting a chance to adapt this breathtaking work of art has been a dream of mine for years, and I'm so honored to do it in partnership with Neil, end quote. John, it is happening. Your favorite video game of all time is being adapted into an HBO series, and I want to know, are you worried at all?
Yes, because I don't want them to adapt the game. I want them to make something with characters that exist in the universe. So let me pitch you my idea for a Last of Us show produced by HBO, and then we can go back to reality.
Okay.
But when I first saw the announcement before I read the article, my immediate thought was, how cool would it be if we had like an 8 to 10 episode show about what happens to Joel and Tommy in between when, spoilers, Sarah, his daughter, dies at the beginning, and the 20 years until the game resumes when you're in Boston. So it's about a younger Joel, a younger Tommy, and maybe when Joel meets Tess. And it's based on the relationship between those two brothers instead.
Right.
And my dream casting would have been Bradley Cooper as Joel and Ryan Gosling as Tommy. And you just have the two of them getting to know the Fireflies, traveling across country, working as hunters. There's a part in the game in Colorado where Tommy talks about how he still has nightmares about the stuff that Joel used to make him do. And I've always wanted to know what that was, and I would love to see a show about that.
Yeah.
But then I realized that they're just going to adapt the game, like every dumb video game adaptation tries. So I am worried. However, I do think HBO is probably the best place to make it. So I'd be curious to see. Let me see the trailer and then come back to me.
Sure. I am not worried in the slightest. I think this is going to be a slam dunk. I think this is the best possible news that we could possibly have hoped, especially considering that Sony as a production house has made so many mistakes in the past with their video game IPs and the movie world. Uncharted, the film, is probably going to be terrible. The Tomb Raider movie is largely forgettable. Man, I could go on. Like so many classic video games, and Sony just as a studio, never been my favorite. Like the Ghostbusters reboot with all the like Melissa McCarthy and them. No, thank you. The Pixels, no, thank you.
The peak of Sony as a studio is Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy for sure.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Those movies, perfection.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that have you seen Chernobyl, the show that Craig Mazin created?
No, I'm too scared.
Yeah, I've heard it's freaky.
But I'm sure he's the perfect guy to handle it because I heard it was incredible. So.
Yeah, so they've got talent, right? They've got a talent that knows and has proven that they can create something gritty, grounded, and real. I think that my worry would have been if Sony would have taken complete control of The Last of Us and like made it into a film franchise. I think that, it would have been – I think that, a smaller budgeted show on HBO is going to lend to us having so much more time to hang out with these characters and have them have great development. And I really hope that it's like – I know that they said that they want to do extra material should the second game like prove to work in its context and in the canon of the series.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, a 10-episode – 1 hour long each episode, just chronicling the story of the video game. You could have flashbacks to Tommy and Joel stuff. You'll have the what's it called? Left Behind?
Left Behind, yeah.
Yeah, you'll have that sprinkled in there somewhere.
Yeah, that'll be
flashbacks.
Its own episode, I think, the Left Behind episode.
But I think that, obviously you're right. Show me the trailer. I want to make sure that they get the tone right, and I'm really curious to see when they talk about casting. Obviously, with coronavirus and COVID, like this is going to be much more delayed than I would have wanted to. Like, I want this now. Like, give it to me now, especially now that
that's why we got the new game coming out at least.
I know.
So yeah,
it's a couple months until Last of Us 2, and we'll get some more. I would like to replay at least most of Last of Us before the game comes out, just to refresh my memory on all the events.
Yeah, you should. You should.
But yeah, dude, I think that this is perfect news. Like when I saw this the news article was published on March 5th, so this was just a few short days before the chaos of everything coronavirus related. But I think that this news is great. I think that they made the perfect decision on this, and I really hope that this comes through to fruition and doesn't get someone doesn't drop the ball somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
But we will see. Time will tell.
Time will tell. I'm ready for game 2, man. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, getting hyped.
I watched the story trailer again the other day. It's so hyped, dude. Looks terrifying.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this. So I've been playing – we'll talk about this in a little bit, but I've been playing The Last of Us recently.
Right.
As well as doing a couple other things. But – I've been replaying it, and I've been like, I know when things are going to happen, like, and I know even sometimes which corner an enemy's going to emerge from, so it's not scary anymore, except for a couple of moments. But I was thinking about that. I was like, when I sit down to play part 2, I'm going to be so cocky that I feel like I'm going to get like I'm going to get jump scared like multiple times in that game because I'm not going to know when things are coming, And now they're adding dogs as an enemy. That's going to be terrifying. But I don't know. I was just thinking about that because I was like, I was in the school in Billstown, and you're like sneaking through, and I'm like, okay, so I know that there's a clicker that's going to come out of this door as soon as I kill this guy. So I got to have a Molotov ready to go. And then I know I need to save another Molotov if I have it for the bloater in the gym, but like, I'm not going to know any of that stuff anymore.
Sure.
Yeah. I sound like a crazy person, but
no, I think I'm very curious to know. obviously the plan is that when Last of Us 2 comes out, I'm gonna marathon that game.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And then we got to do like a 2.5 hour beer soaked
Four hours.
crying 4 hour long. Yeah.
4 hours.
And we'll just do like a review spoiler cast, and we'll talk about everything in classic Radiovania style.
Mm-hmm.
Little news update blurb here before we jump into anything else. I was just scrolling through like trending news right now. And the article that grabbed my eye was Wonder Woman 1984. Warner Brothers debating whether it should skip theaters straight for streaming. So apparently, according to Warner Brothers insiders, the preference is still to release the movie theatrically, but executives are considering a streaming alternative as a direct-to-consumer offering rather than as part of Wonder Woman's soon-to-launch subscription service. Or Warner's soon-to-launch subscription service, HBO Max. It's slated to come out on June 4th, but so rumors on the inside say that, you know, it looks like it could be like a way to get people to subscribe to HBO Max, as having 1984 be one of the first movies.
Yeah, that sounds like my free trial right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the free trial, watch it twice, delete my account.
Yeah.
Sounds
there you
good.
go.
Yeah.
Sounds
or
like
maybe I keep it so I can watch Birds of Prey and Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be curious to see when you see Birds of Prey. You got to let me know how you liked it. But
I will, for sure.
All right, well, John, we are at the hour mark. Is what else do we have to do? What
I think our closing discussion is going to be our quarantine recommendations.
Okay.
So what I want to propose to you, and I'll go first so that you have a little bit of time to write stuff down and think of things. But I thought it'd be cool if for the public we give them a game, a book, a show, a movie, and a music album that we would recommend. And you can have two if you're torn between them.
Okay.
As well as what you are interested in diving into.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes total sense to me.
So I will go first if you want. Why don't we go topic for topic? That way you don't have to write down all of them right now. If that's cool.
I think that's the easiest way to go about it.
So why don't we start with movies?
Okay.
All right. So for me, the movie that I want to watch during my quarantine is Knives Out, because I've not seen it.
Oh.
And it is available on Prime to rent. So I'm debating if I throw up the $4 to rent it and watch it with Izzy. Would you recommend that it being 4 hours? Because you have seen it. Or $4.
$4. Yeah, I mean, $4 for sure is a great price for a rental. I mean, like a lot of time we lose in our current state of film. Sometimes we can lose sight of what value means.
Yeah.
And we pay $13-14 for movie tickets plus your admission, your whatever, your popcorn, your soda, driving to the theater. It's like you spend a lot of money going to the movies. So as much as I thought that Knives Out wasn't a perfect movie, I think I have my problems with it. Like we talked about it, I think, over the phone or something when the last time when we chatted after the movie came out. I think that Knives Out is a good movie. I don't think it's a great movie. I think that I don't love Rian Johnson's editing decisions sometimes. Mm-hmm. I think that oftentimes I think that, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. But I think that sometimes I feel like Rian Johnson thinks he's more clever than he actually is. And I found myself a little bit bored during a few sections of Knives Out. But overall, I thought the movie it ends very, very well. I think that, it's a whodunit. It's a mystery movie. And I think that, the way that they wrap everything up makes the movie worthwhile to me. And it's something I'd consider watching again. Cool. But yeah, I think totally. I think Knives Out is a great. It's also one of those movies that feels like you're reading like a good book. Like it's like you're warmed by the fire. It's like it's a very engaging movie for most of the time. So
cool. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think that's what I want to watch.
Cool.
What I would recommend for people to watch if they have not already seen it, I have two, and they're very different from each other.
Okay.
The first is Michael Mann's, I think it's 1995 classic, Heat, the crime drama in Los Angeles. Have you seen Heat, Zach?
I think I watched it a long time ago on my iPod Touch.
Okay, so you need to rewatch it.
It's been a long time.
So it's Robert De Niro and Al Pacino at the height of their fame, and Robert De Niro plays the leader of a group of bank robbers, and Al Pacino plays the cop who's trying to catch his crew. So it's a classic heist movie, bank robbery crew gangster movie with, two dynamic personalities on each side of the coin. And I'll just say diner scene. I'll just throw that up there. I feel like every film school student has to watch it at least once, but it's an awesome movie. So I would highly recommend that. It's really awesome. If you're a family, though, do not watch this with kids in the room. It's very violent and vulgar. Okay. And then my other thing is Coco. If you haven't seen Disney Pixar's Coco, I would really suggest it still. I think it's on Netflix right now. If it's not, it's definitely on Disney Plus. It's a really good, heartwarming Pixar movie. I think it might be a dark horse for being the best Pixar movie that has been made. I think it's
all
really
time.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Jeepers.
Mm-hmm. So those are things that I would recommend to folks. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so the two movies that I'll start with. Did you start with the one that you wanted to watch or one that you recommend?
One that I wanted to watch.
So one that I want to watch is Jojo Rabbit.
Okay, good one.
Grayson
watched it. He said it was great.
Yeah. Taika Waititi, one of my favorites. Obviously, we talked about him earlier with the Willy Wonka stuff, but missed it in theaters because it had a super limited release, especially here in Cincy. Like, it was only playing at a few theaters around the city, like, border, and didn't make the chance to go out and see it. But now it's available. It's not streaming for free anywhere, but it's available as a $6 rental on Amazon. So that's one that I definitely want to jump into.
Cool.
As for recommendations, I'll recommend two from the past year, especially. The first one is an obvious one, which is Parasite.
Nice.
Best Picture winner at the 2019, technically 2020 Oscars. Saw this movie at home, didn't catch it in the theaters. I thought it was fabulous. I thought it's funny and dark and well written and just all around a really interesting film. I would recommend that if you haven't seen Parasite, don't watch any trailers or anything for it. Because I knew a little bit about the story, but I wished I knew nothing, because the movie kind of if I had to use a word to describe the movie, it would be surprising. Okay.
I've heard it's good.
It's excellent. Right now, if you want to watch Parasite, right now it's available not for free streaming anywhere, but it is on Amazon Prime, again, for $6. So you can check that one out. The second one I would recommend is Dolomite Is My Name.
Oh, is that on Netflix?
It is. It's a Netflix original film, so it was produced – I don't think it was entirely produced by Netflix, but it's got Eddie Murphy starring as Rudy Ray Moore. And have you seen this yet, John?
No, but I really want to. I saw the trailer for it.
This movie is right up your alley.
I bet. I love Eddie Murphy.
Maybe my favorite Eddie Murphy movie of all time
More than Shrek?
Yes, more than Shrek.
More than Daddy Daycare?
Yes, more than Daddy Daycare.
Daddy Daycare is a classic.
But yeah, Dolomite, it's one of the best feel-good movies of all time. Like, it's just got such a great story, and it helps that it's like it's a true story too. So I don't know, man. It's like Dolomite was just such a joy to watch. It's so funny and heartwarming, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It's so good that I watched it twice. I watched it by myself, and then it was like 2 or 3 days later, I told Carly, I was like, we have to watch this. And so we put it on, and it's great.
Cool.
All right. Next up.
Yeah. Let's do music, because I feel like mine's going to be pretty brief, and I was going to lean into you a little more. So for for what I want to listen to, I'm actually going to go with Zach's choice on this one because I am horrible at finding new music. So whatever you list is what I'm going to write down. But for what I would recommend, I listened to this album when I was driving through the park the other day. And it really reminded me how much I liked it, which was Cleopatra by the Lumineers a couple years ago. I think it's not necessarily the happiest album. It's definitely got some melancholy pieces and some very like chill, serene pieces. But if you're looking to like go for a walk outside and you find like a nice hiking trail, it's a really good thing to just like listen to when you're out in nature and just chilling. So that's what I would recommend.
Cool.
What about you? What do you want, and what do you want to, or what can you recommend for us?
Oh boy. Okay, so this one is difficult because music is so subjective, and what people like is it's hard to really nail down on sometimes. And so I'll throw out a couple suggestions here. An album that I'm gonna aim this directly at you. So like stuff that I think John would like. So
yeah.
So first of them is I know that we've played some of their music. At least I've played you some of their music before. But there's a band that I've been getting more and more into over the last few years called Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Vulfpeck. They're a jazz freestyle band that was formed in, I believe, New York. They don't tour very much. They have a very, they're not like celebrities or superstars, but they put out music pretty frequently. And their album from 2017 called Mr. Finish Line is just holy cow. One of the best, like, easy listening, very like heartwarming jazz records. It's got some great like soul singing, and it's cool too because they do a lot of instrumental stuff. So you put on this record, there's a couple songs right out the gate that have like vocals and very cool hooks, but then there's also entire tracks where it's just dudes like rocking a bass solo.
Yeah. No, I've listened to this stuff that you put in KI 2K19.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I enjoy them a lot. Maybe I'll just listen to the whole album start to finish.
Yeah. Mr. Finish Line is my favorite record by them. And then a close second would have to be Hill Climber.
Okay.
That's a great one too. That one I believe is their most recent. Came out in 2018.
Cool.
But the other recommendation I'll throw out is an album that came out last year that I was super into, and I go back and revisit it. This is more on the Zach spectrum of music. This is a band. The album's called Outer Peace by Toro y Moi, and it's like an electronic R&B record. The guy is most famous for doing that song "Girl Like You." That's like came out in 2017. That was like, it was played in a few clubs, I remember, and bars and shit. But Outer Peace is a really cool record. It's very experimental, but it's also it's not like, it's easy listening to. So it's like chill electronic music, lots of beats and synthesizers layered on top of each other. But it's a cool record. I dig it quite a bit. Got some Daft Punk vibes, got some Tycho vibes. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
There's a song on the album called Monte Carlo featuring the girl from the band Wet, and it is just the sexiest thing you've ever heard in your life, boy. So
okay. I like it. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Let's see.
And if anybody out there needs any recommendations on music or anything like that, feel free to reach out at Zach Rotello.
Sure. There you go. Let's do TV shows next.
Okay. Hit me.
So the show that I want to watch that I've been putting off for forever is Mr. Robot.
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, I know you were going to freak out about that. So I've been meaning to get down and watch that. So that's on my list of things that I want to see during the quarantine. Things that I would recommend, I have two again, because this one's a little harder to pick through. But one of them is Batman Beyond. Ever since the Blu-ray came out last year, I've been rewatching it bits and pieces. So you can get the high def versions on Vudu, but you probably have to buy it. I don't know if you can watch it on Prime anymore. But Batman Beyond, low key, really good idea. Young Batman, old Bruce Wayne. It's a cool concept, and some of the villains that they created are really dope. And then some of the villains from Bruce Wayne's heyday resurface as older versions of themselves, and that's really cool to see too. The voice cast is amazing because it's a DC animated thing from the 90s, so that means it's awesome. But yeah, it's a quality show, and if you're looking for a fresh take on Batman after Batfleck kind of soured Batman in your mouth a little bit, I think this is a good palate cleanser for the Batman before that comes out. But if you need your Gotham fix, I would recommend Batman Beyond. And then the other one is something that Izzy's actually been watching that I've been catching pieces of that I really enjoy, which is BoJack Horseman. It's pretty funny, and that's on Netflix, so check that out.
That's one of those shows.
Little dark humor for you. It's like Rick and Morty, but with animals.
Yeah, that's one of those shows where I've been constantly getting like recommendations for it, but I also don't love like dark comedy has to hit me at a very specific place. Like I think Rick and Morty rides that line pretty well. Like they'll have for every dark joke, there's also like 3 really good lighthearted jokes that are easy. So that makes me feel good. But like at the same time, I've heard BoJack is like just dark, depressing the whole way through. Like
it's pretty depressing, but also there's some really funny animal puns in it. So I don't know. You got to pick your battles. But there might be some people out there that need a little bit of dark humor right now. So
maybe, yeah, that's a good point. All right. So the recommendation I'll get right out the gate for what people need to watch is Watchmen.
Yep.
Now's the time, boy. If
I
you
haven't, I will retweet that.
Yeah. If you haven't watched the HBO limited series Watchmen yet, it is the best and one of the best TV shows I've ever seen in my life, and the best thing I watched in 2019 without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, it'll take up a good day of your quarantine.
Yeah. And if you want extra bonus fun points, find someone else that hasn't watched it and watch it with them. Because some of the most fun that I had in 2019
but sit 12 feet away from them.
Yeah, make sure you're at a safe distance, but or you can download. Actually, it's a pretty cool browser function. But you can, if you use Google Chrome, there's a browser function that you can download that adds a chat feature to Netflix, so you can watch movies and television shows with other people, and like there's a chat box in the side so you can like talk to each other while the thing is happening.
Gotcha.
So cool idea if you're quarantined and don't have friends to watch stuff with, you can joke around with. But yeah, so Watchmen, number one recommendation. Stuff that I want to get through, definitely Rick and Morty, the new season, because I still haven't watched any of it.
Yeah, you need to. It's so funny.
I know, I've heard. And then,
just
like I said, I'm
two words for you real quick, Zach. 2 words.
Yeah, hit.
Snake jazz.
Okay.
Yeah.
No idea what that means.
You will.
Okay. And then like I said, I'm finishing Better Call Saul. I'm in I'm at the end of season 3 right now. There's 5 seasons total, and the show is coming to an end this year, I believe. Okay. I think the last episode airs sometime in like April. So it's coming to an end, and I'm very excited to see it through to the finish.
Cool. So
yeah, those are my big ones.
All right. Let's go to books, and then we'll end with video games. That seems topical.
Okay.
Right. So books. So a book that I want to read is I think it's actually a history book, shockingly, but it's called The Lost City of the Monkey God. You ever heard about this, Zach?
Sounds familiar.
Okay, so it came out 3 years ago, and it's about a project that was headed by a documentary filmmaker when they went to do archaeological digs in Honduras. And apparently it's pretty cool, and they find out some cool shit. So it's like nice real world Indiana Jones, Uncharted kind of stuff.
Right.
And then the findings were reported in the National Geographic magazine, if you want to look those up too. But I've heard it's a pretty interesting read, kind of in the same vein of The Lost City of Z, which they adapted into a film, like an actual film. But yeah, it's a book that's been on my list that I saw at Costco like 2 years ago, and I've been interested in reading it. And maybe I'm going to finally get the time to sit down and read it. And then a book that I would recommend that I just read is also adapted into a Coen Brothers film. It's called No Country for Old Men by Cormac McCarthy. Have you seen the book or seen the movie, Zach?
Seen the movie, but I've never read the book.
Okay, the book is a really good read, actually. It's very intense, and you'd be surprised that even after seeing the movie, that some of the tense moments with Javier Bardem's character and Josh Brolin's character are actually still pretty. They resonate pretty well on the page in terms of being like kind of spooky. But it's a cool read. I would recommend it. There's a lot of nice narration pieces in between parts of the story that are from Tommy Lee Jones's character's journal. He's the sheriff of the county. It's a very good book. And it was special for me because my grandpa really likes it. And I was able to call him on the phone and we talked about it. So we had like a nice little book club going.
Awesome.
So I would recommend it. You could probably tear through it pretty quickly. It's not a huge book, but interesting thing though is that there are no quotations around the speaking lines.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I haven't figured out why.
I would assume. There's got to be a reason, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm
not doing comics because I've already recommended the one that I would recommend, which is Gideon Falls. So.
Yeah. And that's the one that I'm going to finish, or at least finish the second and third trade there. So that's my book recommendation is also the one that I want to get through. So.
Okay. Gideon Falls. It's a great,
yes.
You can get the first 3 trades, maybe the 4th digitally, depending on how printing goes and publishing and stuff like that. But yeah, I would second yours for sure. It's a great read. Good stuff. Wait till you get to the 4th volume's worth of stuff. It's ridiculous.
So you can order the 4th volume trade on paperback on Amazon. It's $16.99, but it doesn't release until May 5th. So right now it's like a pre-order.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it gets crazy, dude. It gets real crazy.
I'm hyped.
All right, you ready for games?
Ready for games.
All right, so I'll go and then you can finish us up. So the one that I want to play is Shovel Knight. I have it for the 3DS, and I bought it for our trip to Europe, and I just found my 3DS, and I realized that I haven't played it yet because I finished a Zelda game on our trip to Europe. Right. So that's what I want to play. But maybe I should buy it for my PlayStation 4 because I think it's on there too, so I could play it on a console version. Games that I would recommend, obviously topical, The Last of Us could be fun. But the one that I would actually recommend people doing right now is any Pokemon game. I've been playing Pearl on my DS right now, and Pokemon, I forgot, is such a great time waster.
Yeah, seriously.
Because the point of it is, that there's a story that you can follow, but also like if you really want to be good at the game, you just got to go take your animals in the grass and just fight other animals for hours and level them up.
Sure.
So it's
you'll forget what day it is playing Pokemon.
And if you have a 3DS or 2DS or anything like that, you can download virtual console versions of Red, Blue, Yellow, and Gold and Silver, I believe, which are the first 2 generations of Pokemon from when you and I were kids.
Right.
And those games are freaking stellar.
They hold up too.
Yeah, and the virtual consoles run really well. I think I have Red and Silver on my 3DS, maybe Red and Yellow, I can't remember. But they're awesome. So I would recommend just playing one of those. It's a really good time filler. I actually have a friend down the road who's playing Pearl with me, and we're going to fight after every 2 gym badges. So it'll be fun.
Cool. Yeah, so video games. Holy cow. Do I have a list for you?
I'm ready.
So things that I have been playing. So most of my holidays are always super busy with work, and so I don't really get to play most of the big games of the year because they all release on the holidays until after it's all over. So this January, so 2 months ago, I played through Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Death Stranding. Mm-hmm. I played Luigi's Mansion 3, and I screwed around with there's one more on here. Where is it? Played a little bit Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. So I played a bunch of the biggest games of the year, like right around that time. I think that Death Stranding is the best video game I played in 2019. I think that was my favorite game last year. If you're into I know that it can be daunting because it's a new IP and it's not something that a lot of people like know. But if you can get that game on sale, I mean, it's been going on sale pretty frequently at like $30 to $40. Or I have my physical copy, which I can loan to you, John. I can't lend it to the Radiovania audience, unfortunately.
If I'm going to borrow a game from you, it's going to be Red Dead. That's the other one that was on the list.
Right, yeah. So, but yeah, Death Stranding is one of the best stories I've played in a video game ever, maybe. I think it's got a really engaging – it's the most movie-like video game I played outside of The Last of Us. So cool. It's got cool characters, a very engaging story, great acting, great visuals. It's a lot of fun. Jedi Fallen Order, probably a close second there. I thought it was great gameplay-wise. Thought it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a great time. If you're into Star Wars, you feel like a Jedi.
I was exploring around a little bit after the story, too. It's actually got some fun replayability. There are parts of the worlds that you can't unlock until after the story mode. And there's some cool things that you can find in terms of like Easter eggs and stuff. So
yeah. But yeah, one that I would like to play. It hasn't gone on sale yet, so I'm waiting for it to go on sale. But it's Control, Remedy 505 Games. But it's like a Twin Peaks style third-person shooter. Supposed to be a lot like – I had it described by a friend to me is that if Uncharted met Twin Peaks and they had a baby – so it's kind of like third-person shooter, but it's also kind of got like very surreal, creepy sort of elements to it. So I'm looking forward to playing that one. I also re-downloaded Ocarina of Time 3D for the 3DS.
Yeah, I have that.
So yeah, screw around with that whenever I got the time.
The Zelda game is also a really good suggestion for sure. For sure. Any of them.
And then today, Animal Crossing released.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, my order of the game, I'd been saving up like Amazon credits forever, and I finally had enough to get it. And they told me like yesterday, I was like, oh, your package that was supposed to come out on release day is now being delayed till Sunday, so I won't get it for 2 more days. But once that does come, I will be hanging out with Tom Nook and building some houses.
I heard it's fun. I got a friend who's been playing it here, and he loves it. So
I'm very excited to jump in.
Awesome. Those are some good suggestions, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So that's our list of things that you could potentially pass the time with during quarantine. I know there's a lot of podcasts that I listen to currently that also are doing the same thing where they're just giving recommendations to people. But that's also a medium that we didn't even talk about. Check out podcasts if you've never done it before.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some really cool ones out there to listen to. One that I would recommend is called The Rewatchables, which is a podcast produced by The Ringer. And it is essentially kind of like what Zach and I do every now and then. But there's a movie for each episode. The one that I'm listening to currently is Godfather Part 3. A couple of people will sit down and they will go through categories like most rewatchable scene, who won the movie, the worst performance, stuff like that. So there's some really good comedy there. It's a very enjoyable thing for a movie fan.
That sounds rad.
I would also suggest, let me look at my podcast real quick. If you're an Office fan, there's a podcast called The Office Ladies that is run by Jenna Fisher, who plays Pam, and Angela Kinsey, who plays Angela in the show. And they go and they're doing a rewatch of the entire show. So they're in the late stages of season 2 currently. So there's a couple episodes, I think like 20 or so far. So if you're a big Office fan, it's a wonderful podcast because they get tons of the old cast and crew members to call in for specific episodes.
Good deal.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, does that round
everything, dude? Yeah.
Is there anything else lingering that we need to say before our next? Hopefully, hopefully because of all this, self-isolation stuff, we'll have opportunities to maybe do a few Radiovania episodes in a condensed period of time while we have some more free time at our disposal.
Yeah, I'm thinking instead of doing specific news topic ones like we normally do, it might be time to dive into the well of doing very specific podcasts, either After Darks or in the same vein of when we did the Lost cast. So maybe we have to do something like that.
Yeah, I would love to just straight up, like you said, like with that other podcast. Like, I think it would be really awesome if we just reviewed like the some Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Like,
cool.
Rewatch all three, review them, rank them, discuss them, and all that stuff. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But we'll spitball some ideas. And as always, Radiovania fans, especially you, Connor, if you want to write into the radiovaniashow@gmail.com. We're always looking for suggestions and stuff.
Yeah, Connor, hit up some of your topics for that last thing that we just did.
For sure. Thank you. Please do that, Connor.
Curious to see what he did. Yeah. Well, Zach, this was a pleasure. It was a good way to spend my Friday afternoon.
Yeah. Thank you for joining me. You can follow me at Zach Rotello. You can follow the show at Radiovania on Instagram, I believe, radiovaniashow@gmail.com. It's been a while since I've done the
plugs.
All the plugs, yeah. I'm feeling out of practice.
Just Google Radiovania.
Yeah, Google us. We're like the third or fourth result. All right, well, thank you for joining me.
All right, thank you, Zach.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye.